if you are the woman at work who's always the reliable one, who always ends up saving the meeting and like working, carrying the workload, and always ends up getting work that's not yours, this video is for you. The problem is you're not being rewarded for the job that you do. But the big problem here is not you. The big problem is that we, in the society we have today, have a system that exploits people who never say no. In this video, I'll show you how to stop being that good girl who does everything right, or at least ease into becoming that girl without being difficult and all of those things that us good girls are secretly afraid of. I'll do it by sharing 5 harsh truths that I had to recognize within myself to let go of this, and with 4 small actions that you can easily actually implement. Let's get into it. There was a post on LinkedIn that inspired this video that I'm making today. I'm gonna go get my phone, one moment. I need to read this out loud for you because it really triggered something inside of me. The post goes something like this. I have been the good girl in a system that runs on good girls. You know her, the one who takes care of it, the one who makes things happen without discussion, the one who saves the meeting, fixes the presentation, translates chaos into a plan. This system loves her. God, it loves her. Not because it loves her as a person, but because she's frictionless. She doesn't ask too many questions about the direction we're going. She delivers even when the brief is as thin as paper. She takes responsibility before it's given. She might get praise, but she definitely will get more work. It starts as a compliment. Oh, you're so reliable. You got such an insane drive. We always know you can land it. And suddenly it's become a role. The one who isn't allowed to be tired, isn't allowed to doubt, isn't allowed to break, and the one who isn't allowed to make mistakes. I've been her. I called it ambition, but some of it was just duty. Some of it was shame. Some of it was an old idea that my value lies in being useful. There's a special kind of culture where good girls thrive. Cultures with high speed and little direction. Cultures where we're agile means we don't have a plan. Cultures where there's always a fire and always the same person is putting it out. You can build a beautiful career there, and you can also lose yourself. What I'm practicing now is not becoming less capable. It's stopping being frictionless, daring to ask the question that makes the room slightly uncomfortable, but the work so much better. What is it we actually want, and who owns this? Because good girls save the day, but they're rarely thanked with anything other than another day that needs saving. Which is why I'm referring to it as good girls, because that also has like a ring to it that I don't like. There's a reason why this triggered me. In 2023, I suffered a severe burnout. My body was completely filled with cortisol. I went home from work. It was the 18th of April. It was a few days after my birthday, and I made a mistake at work, and I went home from work, and I went home from work with the message, let's have a meeting tomorrow to fix the mistake you made today. Because in this company, we're allowed to make mistakes, but we're not allowed to actually make mistakes and actually learn from them. If you make a mistake, you fix it and you never do it again. Doesn't matter if you're the problem or the system's the problem or anything like that. If you make a mistake, you fix it and you never do it again. That creates sick employees in the end. And I went home from work that day and I went to sleep, and I think I slept for a week, and I cried so much. And my body was so filled with cortisol that I quit my job after a while because I couldn't do it. So if that's how you feel, if you feel burned out and you feel like you're actually crying when you're going to work or going home from work, I'm so sorry. It's not your fault, but it's your responsibility. Because feeling that way and actually hitting that wall of a burnout is not your job's. I'm going to have to say this the right way because I don't want to trigger something, but it doesn't actually have something to do with your job. Maybe it's because of your job, but it's about your life. This is your life. The job will still be there. It may have another person in it, but the job will still be there. Somebody will take over and somebody will keep the business running, but your system will break, like the internal system. So hi from video editing, Sine. I need to explain this better. The thing is, up until you get sick, up until you actually turn in sick, like the period where everything is not going well, the workplace is really harsh and everybody's putting so many assignments on you and you can't manage. It's a workplace problem. It's a problem you need to talk to your boss about. If you can. You can't always, I know that. But up until then, it's your responsibility to realize within yourself how you are feeling. If you have never suffered a burnout, you might not know. I didn't until I crashed. And that is okay. That's just, then you learn. But if you know that this is overwhelming you, this is too much, you can't manage and you can't follow along, you have to talk to your boss. And then it's a workplace problem. But the moment you crash, it's no longer a workplace problem. It's still your responsibility as it was before. But it's not your fault, and that's what I mean. It's not your fault, but it's your responsibility. Because then you have a responsibility to yourself. You had that all along. To realize that this is not good for me. I can't stay, or something has to change. And very, very, very rarely have I heard of companies actually changing. There are unhealthy workplaces out there, and if you can't find another place to be, honestly, just try and find another place to be. I'm in marketing. That might not be easy. I know there are workplaces or work job descriptions that are not easy, where it's not easy to find a new job, but you have to try. So that's what I mean when I say it's not your fault. It's not your fault that they have a sucky workplace, to be fair, or to be direct. But it's your responsibility. At first, it's your responsibility to the job, to the workplace, and to yourself. And then when you turn in sick, it's a responsibility to you, your own nervous system, and your healing. Okay, let's keep going. If that's how you feel, I need you to stop. And I need you to ask for help, by the way. I need you to ask for help. I need you to tell somebody about this. Stop watching this video and talk to somebody about this, because stress-related diseases, having like stress and being burned out, is in the long run something that kills you. I read some researches that aren't like fully done, but saying that having high cortisol levels in your body is just as bad as smoking. So please, please, please get help if you need it. Now, I needed help and I got the help, and that's why this triggered me. And I thought, there are so many girls and also boys, but often this system relies on girls, because I don't always, we grew up with such like a, you are the support system. That's the natural, that's the nature, I think, often of girls, that we are support systems. And sometimes that being that support system actually hurts us. We don't always necessarily know when to stop, when to say no, when is that okay even, right? So that really triggered me, and I got really sick, and I changed. That leads me to the 5 harsh truths that I needed to recognize within myself. Suffering from a burnout, high cortisol levels, you don't get well, you don't go back to your old life, you change. You change your priorities, and you change the way you go about in life, because if you do, it's not always only a matter of your job, it's a lifestyle. It's the way you are. It was the way I was. I needed to change. So you don't get well, you change. Number 2 is being competent at your job does not get you respect. If you're always the one who says yes and always the one who does what everybody else expects of her, and like, it, of course, within like your job description, but does everything outside of your job description, people will walk right over you and they don't respect you. And the thing is, the business never really learns to build the plan, because you are the plan, and that is just ugly. Number 3 is being frictionless is not great. It's not great. Don't be easy to work with. Well, be easy to work with, but don't be that easy one, the one you can always like slide an assignment to, the one who always like saves the day. Be difficult. Ask the difficult questions, because if you don't ask the difficult questions, you don't get clarity, and creating that clarity lands on you, gives you more work. And without clarity, you're actually going to get that like pit in the stomach that kind of hurts. So being frictionless and being easy to work with is not necessarily a good thing. The 4th one is that if no one owns the task, you own the task. Being the one who always takes the work and say yes and stuff like that and never say no lands on you. It landed on me too. So yeah. So asking who owns this task is not rude. It's not. It feels uncomfortable, but it's not rude. It also creates that silence around the table, because people are like, oh, I thought that was you. Oh, you thought wrong. So yeah, ask who owns the task. The 5th kind of like, I don't want to say that's like an uncomfortable thing, but the 5th truth that I realized within myself is that your time and your nervous system is something you bring to work. Do you remember like beforehand people said like leave your private life at home, and when you got home like leave your job at your job, and like don't bring that home? But the thing is, it all like correlates and it all like mixes together, especially in the time we have today. Be good at like splitting that up, but also accept that your time and your nervous system is something you bring with you to work. You only have limited time and you only have one nervous system. How does that work with you? Do you even know your nervous system? Because I didn't. So just know that being constantly overwhelmed is not passion. It's not like, oh, I take on too much. And it's not like hustle culture, hustle culture, hustle culture. It's just you riding your own nervous system too hard. I was uncomfortable, right? Those are like some things that I had to realize and work with, turning in sick at work and actually in the end losing my job because I couldn't manage. Today I got a new job, which I like, and it's much less hustle culture, but it still has some of like the same. Sorry, that's my bread. One moment. I made this really awesome focaccia, and I just, yeah. Well, I got a new job, and it still has, like, I have a boss today that respects boundaries, and I think also I have gotten so much better at setting the boundaries because I had to. If I didn't, I would go back to being sick. And yeah, that's not funny at all, but I would, because I need people to know where I stand. This leads us to 4 small tasks that you can implement now, actually. The first one is learn how long all of your tasks take. Take out a month in your calendar. Well, you should be working that month, but take out a month. And every day when you start that day, I don't know, find like an Excel sheet. I just wrote everything actually down on a paper next to me. Ended up uploading it into Excel. Actually, I would recommend you to use Excel because then you have all the data there, and it's just so much easier than you have to like type everything in afterwards to figure out how long everything takes. Type every task that you have for each day into Excel and just write how long did you spend on this task. This clears out how long all of like your small tasks and like your long range task, like the project-based tasks, how long do they take? How long ahead do you have to start before, if you're going on a fair, for example? I know that we need to start about 6 weeks prior. I'd like to start earlier. I always start earlier, but the least amount of time I need is 6 weeks because we have a communication plan and stuff like that. And I know that because I actually spent 2 months writing down all of my assignments and how long did I spend on this and this and that and all of those things. And writing down how long, and you will burn out. You will burn out. Your tasks take just really clears up your schedule. It's so like, why didn't anyone teach me that? Actually, somebody did teach me that, my old boss. That would be the first thing I would do if I were you. Figure out how long does everything take. The second assignment that you can implement today is when anybody comes to your desk or just asks out loud, is there anyone who knows how to do this? Don't say anything. If everybody finds out that you're really, really good at Excel, you will know peace never, never. So just shut. Unless this is your job to help these people with this, just shut the trap. Don't say a word. In my old workplace where I, suffered from a burnout and all of those things, there was a guy walking down the halls and he was like, oh, is anybody really good at Microsoft Teams where you host meetings and stuff? And I am, because I used to host webinars on it. I just looked at him and said, no, I don't know. No, I wouldn't say I'm good. Have you asked? Mike, You could say that. I didn't. I actually just told him, oh no, I'm not. He was actually annoying enough to start explaining his problem. And I just looked at him and I was like, oh yeah, well that's annoying. Have you tried Googling it? Because it's not my problem. I don't have time. You have time probably, but I don't have time. Sometimes you just gotta learn the sentence, I'm sorry, I don't know how to do that. That doesn't make you incompetent. It just puts you out of that bucket of people that knows everything. You know that person at the office who knows everything? Don't be that person. You don't want to be that person. You will never know peace. So learn to say, no, I don't know how to do that. I do it today. Like my coworkers even know that I do that. And they're like, do you actually not know? I do. For you, I know this, but don't tell anyone. The third thing you can implement today. In every meeting, even when you sit in every meeting, you ask at least, but start with one, you ask one question. Because sometimes that one question actually sends the assignment on to somebody else. You ask one question that clears out something. It has to create some sort of friction, but asking who owns this assignment is enough friction. You're not difficult. It's okay to ask that question, because asking these questions when you guys are discussing one of those assignments that's usually yours without it actually being in your job description, and you starting to ask who owns this, people will look at you and be like, oh, I thought you did. Oh, I'm sorry, I don't have time. Which leads me to step number 4. In step number 3, remember to ask a question. Every meeting, one question that clears out something. And in step number 4, you learn to sit in silence, because the reason why you have all the assignments like I did is because we don't like silence. We don't like silence. It feels uncomfortable, but you have to. Learn to sit in silence, because when that person is standing and being like, oh, we have this assignment and blah, 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 and who takes and blah, blah, blah. Who takes it? Shut your trap. Sit in silence. Shut your trap. One of two things will happen. The first one is somebody else will break and take the assignment. And then you have one less assignment, and that's just great. The other thing that might happen is because this person who's like trying to delegate the assignments is used to you taking these assignments, the person will probably look at you and be like, Christina, could this be something you would do? Do you have time? Blah, 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 do all of the things. Like, could this be assignment for you? Then you, again, with the silence, you say, unfortunately, I don't have time. Silence. And then, again, one of two things is going to happen. Either that person tries to delegate it to somebody else, or the person challenges you on not having time. And that's when you know you have to switch jobs. But before you do that, either you have to switch jobs or you have to start parenting these people. That person would say something like, oh, when do you think you could have the time to do this? Then you say, I'd have to look at my schedule and then I'll get back to you. And then you're going to do my favorite thing in the whole wide world, because these people are mean. These people are mean. They're trying to delegate something onto you even though you don't have time. They're not nice people. You get back to them with a time schedule that you know doesn't suit them. Either doesn't suit them or creates just a little bit of friction. You know, it's a little too long. I had a person at work the other day saying, oh, I need this to be up by Monday. It was Wednesday. I had so many tasks on my desk. I just called him up and said, that's not going to be possible. I need you to tell me what is the bare minimum that we can do here to satisfy the supplier. Because you coming with that assignment now, saying it has to be up by Monday, is not realistic. And since I've done that many times, they respect me today. So that just feels so good. So practice those 4 assignments. Figure out how long everything takes. Learn to say, unfortunately, I don't know. Ask one question in every meeting and learn to sit in silence. They are essential for your system to not burn out. And those are just the beginning of becoming that person with respect and not being that good girl who does everything. I am so happy that you've made it to the end today in this video where I just ramble and ramble and ramble, but that it's really something that lies close to my heart. And I just want you to know, I believe in you. You can do this. I believe in you. And if you're close to burnout, talk to somebody. That's all I had to say. I hope you have the greatest evening. I will see you in the next one.